And welcome to Down the Alley. This is PMAC.
And Ted T. Esperides.
And Katie.
Now, these are going to come out, in a different sequence, but we've been like ripping podcasts like back to back to back. It seems like we're professional podcasters at this point. Is this our full-time jobs?
Yeah, we have had quite a few of the interviews kind of stacked on top of each other, just, trying to align us three plus a guest, sometimes multiple guests, all on the right day. It's hard to say, like, we only record at this time and this day because everybody has a different schedule. So I do feel like we've hammered out a bunch in a row here. So,
And it's good.
yeah,
Like we've got time right now. This is a good moment in time for us to like, all right, let's rip some interviews. Everyone's kind of in this lull, before the holidays. We don't have to feel like we have to record on Thanksgiving. Speaking of Thanksgiving, yeah, I don't think it's not very it's it's in our future. It's right there, but I can't reach it yet. Thanksgiving, great spot to go to Old Southern Barbecue.
are you craving real barbecue done the right way? Old Southern Barbecue slow smokes their food in their Old Hickory smokers, turning out delicious ribs, brisket, pulled pork, wings, and our favorite, the signature hot link. Whether it's dine-in, takeout, or catering, you can get it your way by visiting one of their 4 metro locations or online at oldsouthernbarbecue.com. There's a lot of fall events to get catered that,
Well, right now you've got football on every single day. So if you're throwing a football party, cater that up.
Yep.
Thanksgiving's right around the corner. They're gonna have their turkeys. They're gonna have their hams. I think I want to get one of their turkeys and smoke one of those bad boys up, or heat them up or whatever they recommend. I know it's like a double smoke. So am I going to triple smoke it or am I just going to oven it? I'm not sure. I'll talk to the big man. I'll find out what he recommends, and I'm sure it's on the package as well. Old Southern Barbecue, yeah, they're here for you this time of year, for catering needs, for your football parties, and for Thanksgiving.
And if you don't do like we do, where we invite the masses to Thanksgiving, maybe you have smaller family ones throughout the month. Great option to cater. So you don't have a ton of leftovers.
What if your family or your friends are bad cooks? Like imagine having my buddies bring over sides. Like,
I
nope,
can't imagine.
I'll cook the meat. And then we'll order Old Southern Barbecue sides. And maybe I'll get the turkey, whatever from Old Southern Barbecue too to cook. We don't need my buddies burning their apartments down,
No,
trying to
we
bring
don't
over
need
a
that.
side.
We don't need that. And
We don't need that.
I think I read on there, like they have like don't they have a creamed corn?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No?
very good. Yeah, we had that
I
at the
don't think I've
Coaches
had the
Summit
creamed
last year.
corn. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
It has,
did.
like jalapenos in
Deleted.
it.
You probably even didn't get a bite because it was probably
Yeah,
gone
but I think
by the
I
time
think
you
it's kind of
got in
spicy.
line.
I think it has like a jalapeno in it. So, anyways, I think we all are like, why would we cater anything? But I think it's actually like, quite honestly, I think we should cater more. I think we should have catered dinners and
Ted
gatherings.
does. I feel like
way
Ted
more.
does.
Yeah,
Like
you
when
did
Ted has
that.
people over, sometimes you'll, order some stuff,
Uh, yeah, we've
You
done
have done it. I'll
we've done
count
it.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it's honestly it's case by case. Sometimes we're like, hey, we're gonna do it, we're gonna cater it. Sometimes it's cook our own stuff. Um, but yeah, there's time and place for everything, and um, yeah, having the right equipment and the desire to cook and go through that process, especially bigger meals like that, sort of festive meals. I mean, a turkey takes a long time and there's a process to it. And if it's a bike brisket or, pulled pork is, I'll say, easy. It's kind of set it and forget it, but brisket or ribs, like there's some management that needs to happen. So you gotta want to be around and deal with that throughout the day. And some people don't like that process. So why not have a great meal delivered, either picked up or delivered to your door?
Ted, are you, it's the off season. We just kind of wrapped up with our fall balls. I know we have a little bit more, kind of later here, a couple different things popping up this winter, whatever. But are you gearing up for anything? Like, do you have anything big that you're kind of gearing up for? I'm dragging Katie to South Dakota with a couple of my buddies in Groot, and we're gonna do a South Dakota hunting trip here uh over Halloween weekend. We're pretty fired up. We're gearing up for that. Are you gearing up for anything big?
That's a great question. I have a golf trip scheduled in January with my high school friends. First time I have seen them in a while. We're going to Vegas and playing golf in Vegas. So
Have
that'll
you, so we've talked a little bit about this. Have you picked out courses yet? Are you still researching? Have you
yeah.
dialed a couple
Uh,
in?
we've kind of made a short list. We have tee times at a couple already. Maybe one we have officially have a tee time. One we're kind of waiting to see, but yeah, it should be fun. I mean, I'm like a decent golfer, but I'm not a super serious golfer. So I'll see how these courses handle me or how I handle them. Um, it's gonna be interesting, but it'll be fun. Two of my best friends from growing up live in California now, so I only see them once every few years, and we just decided like, hey, let's do a golf trip, and all of us are pretty much the same. Of we like golf, we golf a little bit, but we all have kids, so we're not super serious. So hopefully it'll be a good time. But
So $100 a hole.
yeah, something like that. And we all like to eat, so Vegas has a good,
Oh yeah.
selection. And I think it's going to be the weekend of like the super wild card NFL playoffs.
Oh
That should be fun too. So
yeah. Sports booking it up.
yeah, or whatever. Just I think it'll just be like a fun time. There'll be
Yeah.
like stuff on, good sports on TV, a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, that's like the big thing. But uh,
Nice.
yeah, we have a good interview tonight. We have the Lakeville South, not just the coach or the coaching staff. We have graduates. We have alums uh,
Okay.
coming in. They're all starting to pop in the waiting room here. Um, I'll kind of add them all at the same time, so we can wait a few minutes. But by the time this episode comes out, our Benilde episode will have come out. We got to chat with Coach Giuseppe Palermo, and then PMAC did. You got to talk with the captains, so not graduates, but current players, and then
Yep.
captain group. And it was interesting to just hear sort of their perspective versus a coach's perspective on like what's important to them. But there were some, nice, interesting crossovers, or like the things the coach was trying to put in and the things that he wanted like his program to be about. It seemed like the captains really bought into that, and they sort of felt that culture too. Obviously that's what you want to do when you're building a culture of a program. You got to have everybody buy in, whatever page, whether it's the right page or the wrong page. You got to have everybody on the same page.
You got to be rowing in the same direction. Row the boat, sky you ma.
So I am interested, talking now with the girls state champions as they get on, and there's some players that are going to be on, how they speak about it, because again, like Benilde, they were a force last year. They've been good for a while. They were on a redemption tour, and I think we'll probably bring a lot of this up, but it's cool for them to have the opportunity to share their season story. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to them.
And I just think the eyes of the players are so different than the eyes of us coaches, of like what we remember and the things that stuck out to us. Alone is like probably not even anything that was on their radar. And they're quite honestly, it shouldn't be. They're the ones playing. Sometimes we forget that as coaches, that we're not actually the ones out there, but the perspective is completely different. So yeah, it'll be really cool to hear.
Before I kick this off over to PMAC, he's going to probably lead the discussion here. We have the Lakeville South girls, I guess, head coach and former alums, former captains, maybe, star players, whatever you want to call it. We have Joel Tornell, head coach, Tori Tashida, Katie Grubbs, and Savannah O'Brien. There we go. We're all good.
Yeah.
They are the reigning state champions for Minnesota girls lacrosse, and this is their episode to share their story and their kind of the journey of the season, and we're excited to talk to them. So thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. I think we have to start with an apology, Ted. We referred, and I think it may have been me, maybe Ted was the first one. I'll take credit. We called this team not out of disrespect, but out of respect. But we heard that you didn't like it. The 1980 Soviet team. We made that comparison because this team is so dominant. But we heard through the rumor mill. At least Ted told me that you guys didn't like it, so we tried to stop. If I said it after that, I'm sorry, but it was out of respect. Welcome to Down the Alley.
It's a quick story on that. It came from again, I don't remember where it started, but I do remember it was not last season, but 2023. Farmington boys played the Lakeville South boys in a first half of a doubleheader, and the girls came out to warm up after our game was over, and I kind of had to walk through, not through, but around the warm-ups, and I don't think I saw a ball hit the ground, and it was like structured and organized and dialed in. Game faces were on. I was like, holy smokes. Like I could like feel it as I'm walking out. So I was like, it felt like it was just an operation. So that's where it
So
came.
it didn't look like the Farmington boys warm up. That's what you're saying?
It did not.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, welcome to Down the Alley. Would love to just get a quick intro, from each of you. I know, I know a little bit about all of you, but not a lot about any of you really. Just kind of being from the boys side myself, and I'm sure a lot of, our listeners are the same. So yeah, would love to, maybe start with Joel and kind of go from there. Just a quick intro about each of you.
Sure. Thanks for having us on. It's just been it's been an amazing ride with this group of kids. My last year was my second year as the head coach. I've been around the South program as the assistant coach for 10 years before that. So it's been a while. Coached all these guys when they were growing up. So we spent a lot of time together, and they're my second family. And so we just really had a great season coming together, playing for each other as much as for anything else, and worked out in the end. They took care of business and finished the job that they started at the beginning of the year.
We talk a lot about multi-sport athletes. Are you a multi-sport coach? Did I hear that?
I coached girls hockey for the last 25 years. This is my first year. I retired at the end of last season, so this is my first year being done with girls hockey, but I did do 25 years of girls hockey too.
Congrats on that run. I'm sure there's some overlap with the girls playing both sports, and did that give you any advantages kind of behind the scenes, seeing, how they do in hockey, and going into the lacrosse side of things?
Yeah, we were able to pull some recruits over from the hockey side into the lacrosse side. Taylor Otremba a couple of years ago was one that had never played lacrosse until, I don't know, she was a 9th grader or 10th grader maybe, and played hockey for me. And I just said, hey, what do you do in the spring? And she pulled her over, and she helped us win that championship in 22. Or 23, no, 23. She that's just one example, but there were a number of hockey players that came across, or lacrosse players that play both, and so it was great to be able to see those kids in multiple seasons. We spent months and months together doing both hockey and lacrosse.
Well, thanks for putting all that time in. I know I just coach one sport, so doing two in the hockey season is like twice as long. So congrats on that run, and congrats on the retiring from at least the hockey side of things. Tori, I wasn't on your first interview on Down the Alley. Welcome back. You want to reintroduce yourself? Where are you at? Dorm room action? Where are you located?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Tori Cheetah. Thank you guys for having me back again. Right now, I'm playing lacrosse at Temple University in Philadelphia. Actually, in my dorm room right now. Let's see. I've been playing lacrosse since 2nd grade. I've been playing with these guys since 4th grade, and have had Coach T as my coach the whole time. So extra special to win this year with them. Let's see. I'm really liking it out here. I actually had double labor room hip surgery 2 days after the state championship. So I've been working through that out here, and PT has been going really well. And I really like the team and everything.
I missed it. I wasn't paying full attention. We've got Savannah, not Savannah. Was that the joke from the source?
Yeah, I think the joke was it was like Savannah and then in parentheses not Sylvia, which I
Sylvia.
didn't know what it
Sylvia.
was until I saw the article, so I didn't take it too personally.
Yeah, no, I think that's a joke from the source, so we can't take credit for that. But welcome to the podcast. Yeah, feel free to introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah. I'm Savannah O'Brien. I currently am going to the University of Minnesota and I'm studying environmental policy and climatology. I'm home right now, obviously, because I'm done with class at 11 on Wednesday, so I've been coming home and sleeping here overnight. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm not playing lacrosse there. I'm doing other activities and such, but I'm really enjoying it with you.
So already, like, you don't have a Thursday or Friday class?
I do. I just
Okay,
don't.
I was gonna say, how did you dial that in already? That would have been, I would have given you a little golf clap, but all right. No,
Now, all you care about is how few classes she has. That's all you took from that intro was like how few classes. You love that. You love
I
as
did.
few
I
classes
did.
as possible to survive.
Caught my attention. Sorry.
For those who don't know, you had an injury, which is kind of why, that's what I heard was like the reason why you kind of chose to choose your health over lacrosse, maybe.
Yeah, I last September, um, I had a stress fracture, we found that I had a stress fracture on the left side of my L5 vertebrae, and then it broke on the right side,
Oh,
during
dang.
a tournament, like an off-season tournament. And so I was in a back brace for a couple months and couldn't play. It wasn't
Dang.
great.
You're probably a good choice. Probably a good choice.
Well, you
Yeah,
still put up 76 points last year. That's incredible. Considering that, not a big deal. Last but not least, Katie Grubbs, welcome to Down the Alley.
Hi. So I was planning on going to Northern Michigan for a D2 lacrosse, but very suddenly decided that it was best that I stay home and take a gap year. I'm I'm not gonna say I'm extremely happy about it, but I've definitely like fulfilled my time here, gotten jobs. Right now I have two. Hoping to find some sort of lacrosse fulfillment during that time because I definitely do miss it. Definitely miss that for sure. Only regretful for not going because I miss lacrosse. Like it's been too long. It's only been like 2 months, but definitely miss it. But I'm hoping I still have my scholarship there for next year, so I can still go there next year if I want. But I'll see how my gap year goes right now.
Nice, nice. Well, welcome everybody to the podcast. Thank you for taking your time, this evening, and we can't wait to hear your guys' story. We got some different topics that we want to kind of tackle, and you guys can kind of answer it however you guys want, if it's a player, coach, a little bit of both. But kind of just looking back at last season, what do you think were the kind of the big factors, any mindsets or mottos or themes, that you guys, really hung on to, that led to the success and championship run of last year?
I'll just go first. I didn't want to interrupt anyone. I knew that we were probably all trying to talk at the same time. So I would say our big thing was the year before. That was our definitely just our motivation for our entire year. We all wanted it really bad. There was not a single person on that field during practice, off the field, not during practice, that didn't think about winning that state championship. We thought about it going to sleep, thought about it waking up. Like we all wanted that really bad. And I can't even name anyone on that team that didn't want it as bad as a Tori Cheetah or a Savannah O'Brien or a Katie Grubbs. Like we all wanted it. And that was our motto, was just our mentality that we all had separately and on and off the field.
I definitely think the loss in 2023, as sad as it was such a motivator going in. Like Katie said, it like the chip on your shoulder, but also knowing, because we'd beaten BSM previously and like in regular season, knowing that like it was never over, like we could never settle, never get complacent, because like we knew teams could come back stronger. And like you guys with your jokes about like the Soviets and all of those, like we knew we had a big target on our back, so we knew like you just can't stop. We had to keep working. And I think like us, the three of us being together so long, and like with some other seniors, it, I wouldn't say like destiny or anything, but we knew it was our time, and it was like something that we could reach out and take if we worked hard enough for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both Katie and Tori on that. And definitely on the aspect of how, because of our year before, we had so many motivators towards wanting to win that like every game we played didn't matter the score. We're just like, all that matters. Even like the game, no matter what happened, each individual player, no one really focused on that. Just the fact that we won and we wanted to keep winning because we had that end goal of the state championship game. We weren't really too worried, like caught up in the whole like regular season stuff. We just knew that the end goal was the championship game, and that was what our like only motivation was.
Yeah, and a huge factor is these three girls. The leadership that they gave us all year, and all of our seniors as a group were a phenomenal group of kids. They all were willing to put in the work since they were little, and they really worked hard together. Nobody cared about who got the credit. Our kind of theme for the year was, it's all about W's and it doesn't matter about any of the other stats. And so I think that was huge for us, is being willing to set that aside. And any one of these guys could have had ridiculous goal numbers and assist numbers on their own. But the fact that they were willing to not worry about their own stats and just take care of the team wins was huge for us.
I've always been curious, because you mentioned that, like, at what point as coach, like, was it kind of a sweet spot where you stepped in because they are so like such strong leaders? Like, I've always been curious as like an outsider of like, how much is it just kind of like let them go and let them do their thing versus like, I need to come in and coach, I need to kind of rein in the whole thing here. Talk about your role with this team and kind of where you found yourself interjecting and where you found yourself kind of just being like, they got this.
Well, a lot of it was they got this. Just letting them use the experience that they had and put it out there on the field, and trusting that they were able to recover if something went bad. There were times where we weren't playing to our capabilities, and even calling a timeout, bringing them together, it was more about, hey, what are you guys going to do to fix this? This was all about them. It was their team. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about my team. They were their own. And they have, I mean, all three of these guys played since they were in 7th grade on varsity, so they had a lot of time to understand what we were trying to do and be able to put that leadership out there. And the other kids on the team have spent a lot of time together. I mean, we had just played in a lot of high pressure games together as a group. Part of that was I tried to put the schedule together as hard as we could make it, to give them tough games ahead of the state tournament so that they were as prepared as they could be. And obviously, there are times when you got to step in and say, no, we have to do it this way. We need to step up here or change a little strategy or things that I saw from the side. But for the most part, it was a lot of let them be a team and let them just put out what we had practiced in practice, what we had worked on for years. Let them go show how it works.
Like our interview we just did with the Benilde boys, they suffered basically the same loss that you did the previous season. Another challenging moment they had was their Jefferson loss during the year, which your team didn't really suffer a defeat at all. Was there still a game or a challenge or a moment that that you had to overcome or fight through, or something wasn't going right, that really brought your team closer, or you guys rallied around or something, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think, the biggest challenge for us was not allowing ourselves to get too far ahead because things were going so well. I mean, we had a couple tough games early, adjusting to the way that the game was being called, and a lot of whistles in the first couple of games, and 8 meters were given out. And that first game with Eastridge was like nothing I had seen since 12 years ago.
One question I have for you guys is how, it's really easy with coaches and players to be 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 end of the regular season. Feels pretty good. Like we're a great team, but maybe some of the contributors on last year's team didn't suffer the pain of what happened the year before. How did you all as leaders say, like, you it's great to be the regular season darlings, right? But it matters in the playoffs, because if you play one bad game, it's over. How did you keep everybody motivated to say we're not done yet? We still got 5, 6, 7 games to go.
I think a big thing of that was just like the attitude, and kind of like the attitude that we expected from everyone on the team. Because like the second we kind of like would see someone screwing off or not really focus as much as they could have been, it was they'd get a pretty hard like, hey, cut that out, like don't do that, focus in. A lot of lock-ins.
Would that be from you guys, or would that be from coach? Like, would you all kind of cut it out first?
From
Would you
us.
point to yourself, Katie? Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, everyone kind of like knows I'm hard. I'm loud, and I like to be aggressive. So no one ever, like, I never meant it like out of like, you're not doing good enough, be better. It was never like that. It was just like, I wanted people to understand that we're here for a reason. Like, one of our games was Shakopee, and I don't know if you guys know about that one, but yeah, it was 1-0 first quarter, and we beat this team 20-0 the year before, and we're 1-0 with 12 minutes into the game. Like, this is not okay. And yeah, 1-0 may be, oh, that's fine. In the first quarter, we had, I think, 15 shots on goal. So, and it wasn't because like we couldn't shoot, or because it was just because it was a matter of us not having our head in the game. So it took us a quarter to come together. And again, T will say that he just lets them do this, but he has a lot. He is the reason we are here and the reason we finished. Like, he doesn't give himself enough credit for that. So I'm going to go back to that. You did a lot more than you gave yourself credit for. Um, but he would just get us together, and in his kind, loud voice, he would tell us to get it together. And never would it be putting us down, like saying, you're not doing this good enough, do it better. It would just be every time he told us to do something better, it'd be our attitude. We'd always get reality checks. We give ourselves reality checks all the time. Like, look at the scoreboard. That's not enough. We need better. That's all. Like, it wasn't just do better. Like, you're doing great right now. Do even better. That was the motivation we gave each other all the time. And T was very helpful on that, not just letting us do it. He would coach. Like, he did his job. He very well. And
Okay.
to each other, us captains, we'd come aside too and discuss like, what can we do better? And we never looked at it as like a leadership on the field. We looked as like, let's help other people understand what we need, like what we're seeing, let them see it and lead each other. So we were just trying to build other leaders too at the same time.
And I think it just makes sense, especially like multiple captains, seniors, different personalities and stuff. Like, I think it would just take everybody aback if Tori was the one that was like screaming at them to like get it together. So I think it's like you guys fell into your roles of like personalities, and kind of like where you're going to draw the line. One, so you didn't butt each other's heads, but also so then you could kind of like spread the leadership out. So kind of, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Definitely good cop, bad cop, a few things. But also, I know you talked about like incomings who hadn't experienced that loss. Like, Lakeville South, we're definitely set apart in our underclassmen coming in. Like, every time we lose, like everyone's like, oh, they've lost a lot. Like, we regroup right away. And I just think they always come in with such like a learning mindset, and I've been really grateful for that through the years. Every time they come in, they're like ready to learn, they're ready to take on new challenges. So it's not like we might have 7th, 8th graders on the team, but you're not having to like babysit them. Like, they're ready, they're there to like learn from you and like hopefully take over when we graduate and everything. So I think that made a big difference, that they're ready, like they're ready to step into their roles.
Speaking to that, coming off a title win, what, and maybe this is a question for coach, but for the players too? How do you guys see the younger players stepping up and stay motivated and defending the title?
I was hoping you guys would ask something like that because I think every year we've graduated a lot, and every year people have discounted South, saying, "Oh, they lost these people. They're not going to be as good. They can't do it again without so and so." And I just think like maybe you guys like maybe people will learn this year that they can't discount South. I just think like we have such good youth programs, and that just feeds right into the high school, and people just come in with like growth mindset, and I think they're just going to step right into the spots that need to be filled.
We talk a lot about culture too, and like it sounds like it's kind of already trickled down. Like you said, they already come in with that growth mentality, and like there's definitely something to being a part of like a winning culture, and like that's what we do, and the kind of the legacy you guys have left of like this is such a winning team. We got to kind of like step up to that level too.
I agree. Like, I mean, with what Tori said, there would be days that I know that I wasn't strong enough or like mentally in the game enough to be being a captain completely. Like, I definitely had my faults sometimes. I think we all can agree. And I saw leaders being built like the entire season. Like, there were people that when I couldn't step up, that they would step up. And this wasn't just juniors. This was sophomores. This was freshmen. Like, our team is so generational, and it's so exciting that this year they're going to be just as good. They lost some people, but it's going to be a great season for them this year without a doubt. I have no doubt that they will be just as good as last year, if not better this year. Honestly,
If you're still around, are you gonna weasel your way into some sidelines or captains or
I'm going to
use
talk
that
to T about
leadership
that.
beyond time here?
I'll talk to T about that.
It's a
Hopefully,
great way to be around the game still.
yeah,
And
All the
one year is a blip on the screen,
yeah.
girl. Like it's no big deal.
all the underclassmen are like, oh, I was getting barked at. She was barking at us
Yeah.
all last year. We win this championship, and now she's back, and she's going to be honest on us to lock in here again.
Good for them. You know,
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah,
They should be
it's a
grateful
part
to
of
have
who we are. What? Oh, it's a part of who we are. We got kids who are helping coach in the youth program as well, and so I think that starts that connection right away. So those kids feel even more comfortable when they come in because they've seen these girls around, showing up at clinics and showing up at youth camps and coaching their U12 teams and U14 teams, and so they've just passed it on already, and it just makes it that much easier as they're transitioning into the high school program to feel like they already belong.
Looking at, your scores, I personally don't have to thankfully coach against you, you ladies. Um, you know, you don't let up more than 8 goals ever. 8 goals is a lot against for you. And you're always in the double digits scoring. Good combination. Would you consider, I guess last year's team, was it an offensive team? Was it a defensive first team? And how was it in practice, that offense going against that defense every day?
That was the beautiful thing about our team is that you could never decide if it was a defensive or offensive team. Like you could never, especially during sevens when midi would have to switch to defense and then you would be defending against the defenders and they could put a goal in from the 8 meter and at 80 miles per hour. Like that was the beauty of our team is that we made sure that it was strong both ways and we made sure that the defense could be offense, the offense could be defense. Like we trained it both ways, and so that's what made it fun is that we made sure to make a wall on both sides.
Yeah, Katie just beat me to that. I was gonna say the exact same thing, that I think one of the best things about our team was that it was all around like a very like equal level on offense and defense. So like as she said, we'd switch around and play against each other, and the tensions could get high sometimes just because it was a good team playing against a good team. And as Coach T would always say, like the hardest team to beat is ourselves. And like that, I think that definitely helped as like a motto for us too, kind of to walk in during practice and think like We just need to like if we can play good against each other, like and we're doing well, this is just what we need to keep up and like keep up the good work against ourselves.
I would say this was probably our best defensive team, like while we've been here. And that came with like passing ability. I don't think defenders realize like when their stick skills are good, it changes the game so incredibly because our clears, like it just all of a sudden we had 4 defenders who could all catch and throw and run really, really fast. And it just picked up everything. It made everything so much easier for the middies and for the offense. And it just took our game to a whole nother level. I think that was a big part of how we came out extra strong this year.
Yeah, definitely. It was great in practice for our offensive players to have to try to score against great defensive players, and our defenders had to stop some of the best offensive players in the state. And so, I told them all the time, the people you practice against are better than anybody we're going to play. You've seen the best that you're already going to see. Now you just got to go out there and put it out on the field. And so it was a huge advantage for us to be so balanced, to be able to practice hard that way. But it also gave us that comfortability in games where we knew we could stop people and we knew we could score against good defenders. So that and a great goaltender. I mean, we can't not talk about Kate. She was huge last year for us, and she's ready to do that again next year. So we got Kate coming back. That'll be a huge help.
Speaking
That's
of,
so interesting. We have recorded what, 4? This is our 4th podcast. Like, we're trying to like stack some. Every single podcast, a main point has been made about stick skills. So Tori, that's out everybody's bingo card. Whether we had a D1 men's coach on, now a player that's coming from a player's mouth. We had other coaches, like stick skills has come up as like a crucial factor. So I don't know what we're doing the Lord's work here, but if people don't get it through their head that like it's important, I don't know. I mean, if they're not gonna listen to us, they're probably not gonna listen to anybody. So it's just funny that it's literally come up and like as a main point in every single episode now. So thanks for letting us check that off our list.
Ted, did you have something?
Yeah, I guess I can add to it. You said you made the point about not just stick work, but defenders having great stick work. It leads to clears, and I think from the little that I saw your team play last year, it was this relentlessness of, to beat a good team as an opponent, you have to play a nearly perfect game, and great teams are going to take advantage of any mistake that you make. So it's, hey, we're like, take that Shakopee game, for example, right? They're in the game. Maybe you're not hitting your shots, but it's like they get an offensive possession. They drop one pass. It's a perfect clear. Offense on your end starts to become more efficient, and then it's 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5. Now all of a sudden it's over, right? Like in the snap of a fingers. And I think that's a lot, kind of like what I respected about your program, not just last year, but over the last few years, is just it starts with those fundamentals. Like I said, when I walked through that warm up, I don't think I saw a ball hit the ground. It's that there's a lot that goes into having those skills on game day that a lot of people don't see, like that effort all the time consistently, but that's what makes a championship team. And we can, all these things about champions. It's like, just don't drop the ball and don't turn it over. And that can solve a lot of problems. So, yeah, I kind of just echoing Katie a little bit that it has been interesting. Every episode we've had, someone has called out have elite stick work, and that's going to be the answer to a lot of your problems.
Going back to shouting out Kate, who are some of the players that are gonna help defend the title, help hold your standard, and bring another championship to Lakeville? Sounds like Kate is gonna be staying between the pipes for you. Who's gonna replace the 3 goal scorers on this screen, and and who's coming back on the defensive side of the ball?
Molly Olerts. Shout out to her. She committed today. So just had to get that in before Tori.
Love that.
Where's she commit? Where's she commit?
Butler University.
Woo!
So proud of her. I know she's
It was supposed to be a secret weapon. What do you mean? We weren't supposed to say anything. Shh.
Sorry, never mind. Not
That a
Molly.
sister of Gavin Olert?
Yes.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. former Team 36 player.
Yeah, Gavin was an OG 36er like a long time ago.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we can edit that out if you don't want if you want people to know who she is. But if she just committed, my guess is people will find out pretty quickly.
And she was on the roster last year. I don't think she could hide for that long. So she was already on the roster. I think people would be like,
Sure.
they've already got her name down and her number.
Shout out to Harper Fannin, now freshman. She'll be working on the draw. We worked hard last season, so I'm excited to see what she does.
Same with Addie Hayes.
I was just about to say Addie too. Addie.
I mean, I could keep going, but I'll give you guys a chance to say.
I honestly think that you can't pick one person. I know we're probably supposed to leave this question up to T, but
He'd never pick favorites.
No, he wouldn't. He would try, and then he would be like, "But the entire team," because it's the entire team. There's probably not going to be one specific player. It's going to be an entire force, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we have people coming back who played a lot of minutes for us last year. We had people who were right there, you know, waiting for their chance or getting in when the score was up. And so we have some people ready to step in and take on some of those roles. And that's high school sports. I mean, every year you're going to graduate people and you gotta bring the next group in. And so it's, you know, it'll be a bit of a learning curve with people who played for 6 years, well, 5 years because of COVID. Losing the experience that we have is one thing, but you know, we have some experienced players coming back. We have some new people who have been just dying to play, who haven't had a chance because of who was in front of them. And so they're going to have, you know, this will be their breakout year. They're going to have the opportunity to go out and show what they've done and how hard they've worked and the effort that they've put in. So I'm excited to see the growth that happens for those kids. You know, you got a whole 10 months between the end of the season and the start of the next one for them to work with their club teams or just off-season training and the stick work, like you were talking about before. The stick work is huge, and if people are putting in the time, if we don't put the ball on the ground, we got a good chance to win games.
We talk a lot about that too, like in our preseason rankings that we do, and we're looking at who knows what school up in the North Metro that we never go to, like looking at their rosters and how sometimes we get skeptical of teams that are like, oh, heavy senior class leaves, but that's such a great point of like, well, you have no idea who's been behind them that's just as good, that just didn't get their shot to get, you know, the minutes or whatever. And so, and sometimes, but opposite of what you guys do, we also sometimes get skeptical of heavy senior classes because it's like spring rolls around, it's hard to stay focused, it's hard to stay like motivated to you know, stick with it. So again, you guys are just completely going against everything we've ever said. You had a strong senior class, you got the job done, but also now it'll be true that it sounds like the juniors, sophomores, freshmen, you know, have been faithfully waiting their turn. I want to know to kind of walk us through like postseason, kind of like Ted said. I know we've kind of talked about it, but like, was it business as usual, or was it like we've been here? Was it even worse than the year before because you knew the outcome was not what you wanted? Was there like revenge, just seeing red the whole time? How did that week go of like the redemption tour kind of thing, of like attitudes, practice schedules and things like that? And was it smooth sailing through like the season was?
I would say for one that I don't really think like revenge or vengeance was like, we made jokes about it, but that definitely was not one of our motivating factors. Because I think still we just try to keep like be very level-headed, just play our game. Doesn't matter who we play, just like play our game. Kind of like make sure that we knew that if we played our game, we'd be fine, and not to get like too deep into the, oh my gosh, this team's like this team's like that. Just like play our game and we'd be fine.
A big emphasis this season was taking it like one game at a time. And so we weren't even like trying to focus on the other games playing and like who we could possibly be playing. It was just, we're here in the now. We just had to like just take it where it was.
Coach T, this one's for you. I like the Benilde coach that we interviewed a few days ago. You know, a coach who was an assistant coach for, you know, a couple of years and then taking over, kind of a big time program. We're there any challenges that caught you off guard? Is managing a big elite roster, something that caught you off guard? I'm sure it wasn't, but was there any challenges or any tips that you might have, for a new head coach?
Probably the biggest thing is just all the other stuff that you have to do with all the scheduling things and buses and trying to there's just a lot of coordinating that goes on behind the scenes that people have no idea. It's if all I had to do, I mean, that's what makes being an assistant coach the greatest job out there, is because you show up, you coach kids, and you're done, and you don't have to set up parent meetings and get the PowerPoint ready and do that. Like, there's all of that stuff that people don't see, and doing the banquet and the end of the year stuff, and trying to make it through without completely falling apart when you're losing your family as they graduate. And so those pieces are probably the biggest part, is the off field piece. As far as if you're a new head coach and you're struggling with that stuff, you got to ask for help. Ask somebody who's done it for a while. Hey, what are some of those secrets? If you're have your athletic director help you with some of that stuff. There's so much of the behind the scenes stuff that's a pain. That's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, I want to stay in the D coordinator role as long as possible.
Yeah, the three of us have such low status at our high schools that it's like, that's like, all my favorite quote is, "That's a great question for Coach Heather," and then I just kind of like weasel away.
Kind of looking for the next few months here as the Lakeville South team prepares for the next season. What are things that the players and the team and the organization is doing, kind of in the off season to improve and maintain that winning culture that you've done year after year after year?
I think probably the biggest thing is most of the kids are playing some sort of off season program, doing some club work, just to continue pushing themselves and growing their game. As far as me, I don't control any of that. I know we have some parents who are running some off season stuff with trying to get into the different leagues or weekend tournament kinds of things, but I really kind of just stay out of all of that. It's not my problem, and the expectation is that they're going to be working on getting better to fill the roles that they need to fill for next year, and that's up to them as individuals, as players. It's up to the team as a whole to kind of come together and our leaders to push people. Whether that's showing up for wall ball kinds of things or other captains practice coordinating, but all of that's out of my hands. That is the one kind of nice thing. I mean, the high school league has some rules that I'm not a huge fan of, but it is kind of nice to be able to, when the season ends, kind of wash your hands of it and say, hey, we'll see you in the spring, and hopefully you're better and ready to go, because we have high expectations and a big target on our back, so we got to be ready to run or we're going to get run over.
Does your program have any unique or fun traditions? Maybe a game day thing, maybe a practice thing. I don't know. But any fun behind the scenes, maybe traditions or things.
Well, we started, I don't even know how many years ago now, kind of a tradition that whoever, if you mess up, if you forget your stick, if you didn't bring your penny, if you whatever it happens to be, that you're the dingus, and you get to have a pig. If you've seen the pig stuff and the pink that we have, that's all from this dingus award, and you maybe have seen a dingus, a pig hanging off of, I don't know, Katie Grubb's backpack, for example. She was a frequent winner of the Dingus Award, and we love her for it. It's part of who we are. So there's a little kind of taking some shots at people and having fun together, and we just it's part of our culture. It's part of who we are. Is the Dingus Award. Some of us, we one year we got shirts that said Dingus for life on them, and so we all are. It's just part of who we are, and having fun together as a team. You know, a little gentle shot towards Katie there, and I, you know, she's used to it. She's taken a few.
The whole like fan base wore like a pink shirt one year, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like the
that's
whole like if like the fans coming to watch Lakeville South were all in like pig pink. It literally is like a very pale. What is
yeah,
that Crayola crayon color? It's literally
yeah.
like a piggy pink. I've never known. I've seen the pig, but I've never known what it was for. I figured it was like a bonding. In this case, maybe it's a don't forget your penny. I guess
We
it's
had
so
the pink
annoying though
Crocs.
when don't forget your penny.
We
Yeah,
rocked
pink
the team
became the
pink
thing. We
Crocs.
had pink Crocs for a while.
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh
on the
yeah.
team had
Oh,
them.
there it is. Yeah.
The
Pink
pig is
socks, pink
everywhere.
everything.
It's part of
Yeah.
us.
It's fun. That's fun. But that's like the culture piece that like we try to ask these coaches kind of these like and teammates like that background stuff. We were literally just saying on like the intro, what were you guys saying? Like you're either on the wrong page together or the right page together. As long as you're on the same page, it's like that's really the winning sauce.
Love it. No, that's fun. That's fun. As you may know, if you are a listener, our last question we like to ask all of our guests is, what is your alley? So we'd love to hear each of your alleys. This could be something you're, passionate about today, this week, this month. Maybe it's a lifelong thing. It can be a serious thing. It could be a funny thing, lacrosse related or not. You can kind of take it any direction you'd like. So we'd love to hear, what is each of your alleys?
I would say that my alley is like my friendships that I have and my relationships that I keep up in my life. Um, it's definitely something I miss the team aspect coming to college. Like I miss the team after especially having like the season that we did and spending so much time together. And then it's like hard moving forward knowing that like that was over, where there wasn't going to be another next year of that. But like coming to college, I've like been really lucky and grateful to make new friends and like keep up a lot of friendships that I have still already. So it's definitely like something that's getting me through like day-to-day life.
I would say my alley right now is gratitude. I've just noticed a lot. I get to wake up every day and live out my dream of playing Division 1 lacrosse, and this is just exactly where I want to be. So just being extra grateful for it.
Even at 5 a.m.
I love it. I sometimes at our high school practices, people wouldn't like to get up early, but here, like everyone is just as excited as I am, so it makes it even better.
Yeah, your teammates are like, shush. They're like, never again.
Katie, I'll let you
Mine,
think. Are you good?
oh yeah, I got it.
Go.
I got it. Mine would be kind of just continuing to do what I'm passionate about, because I know I kind of made a couple of people in my life upset when they found out I wasn't going to college right away. And I know sometimes people have opinions about not going to college right away or not going to college, period. And ever since I just had this mentality, like whatever is best for me is best for me, and whatever is my gut feeling is my gut feeling, and just pursuing what I want to pursue and my passion and what I'm excited about, and not letting outside forces affect my mentality about that thing.
Well, I guess I would say my alley is coaching and teaching. I mean, I'm a teacher, I'm a coach, and so passing it on, making those connections with kids, um, just being able to create memories. The memories that I have with these three that are on the screen right now, super special. So yeah, so that's just part of it. Is they're important to me, and that's my alley is helping these kids.
You're making Tori cry.
Don't cry again, T.
Never.
She's probably been crying like the last month. Okay, I guess it's October. I think it's still sad. Wait till Christmas break. Get to Christmas break.
Coach D is just
Yeah, I mean
the best coach.
it definitely shows that like you guys have created a bond, and it definitely was a special team. So I'm sure the legacy will live on.
So yeah, no, I just want to thank each of you for coming on the podcast this evening. We appreciate your time and sharing your story and giving us, a behind the scenes preview of, how the last two seasons went, and how it did end in a very special way. And yeah, it was nice to meet each of you, and good luck to the Lakeville, team next year, to each of you, and everything that you all are accomplishing and striving for. So pleasure to meet you, and I know Down the Alley is going to love this episode.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you to the Lakeville South girls lacrosse squad for coming down the alley, sharing their story, and getting to know us, and us getting to know them. They were I don't know, they were super interesting. Like they were cool. Like I like their vibe. I'm fans. I'm fans of each of them. I'm fans of the Lakeville South girls lacrosse.
Yeah, no, you could tell they were super close, and it seemed like sort of a mission for them to win that state championship, and there's a lot of memories there. And I like what Coach T, I like his vibe too. He's seems like he knows what buttons to push, but he also lets his athletes and his players get the job done. At the end of the day, I don't care how good of a coach you are, the players got to go out and do it, and they have to want it. And it seemed like that group was sort of like the state championship is the goal, all else is secondary, and that's what we're doing. And obviously it worked out for them.
Something that didn't come up was their chemistry on field. They were one step ahead of each other, to each other's sides and on the back of their head at the same time, without stepping on each other's toes and without like being mad at each other about it, which it was just like a really swift dynamic that they all had. So something that I think was maybe one of their X factors among having grade 6 skills, among having amazing team, but like it showed, and I think it made a huge difference in their caliber of play.
It sounds like, I know our first interview with Tori, she said that group of girls has played together since maybe U8 or something like that.
Yeah, I think they said, fourth grade. I didn't know T was their coach the whole time.
There's something to be said about, like obviously you have to improve as like your own skills and be a good lacrosse player, but just playing with the same group of people over a long period of time, like you said, there's some of those intangibles around communication. And they think they played some club together too, plus Lakeville, plus it seemed like they're friends. So it is an X factor, and it makes it even that much harder to play against, where not only are the skills elite, there's a lot of team chemistry. So you could tell like their whole, even in an interview, like they all just seem to have a lot of chemistry together, and that interview flowed well. Like they all kind of knew when they should answer and who should answer what, and they weren't like overlapping each other very much, which is like really interesting, because I think that's the most people we've had on an interview like in one room, I think, ever.
I was thinking that too. I think ever.
Oh yeah. 7 people.
Yep.
So, that's just interesting how that all worked out. But yeah, no, all superstar humans and players for sure.
Yeah. So I guess one last thank you to Lakeville South for coming down the alley with us this week.
That's all I got. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Adios.
Are you craving real barbecue done the right way? Old Southern Barbecue slow smokes their food in their Old Hickory smokers, turning out delicious ribs, brisket, pulled pork, wings, and our favorite, the signature hot wing. Whether it's dine-in, takeout, or catering, you can get it your way by visiting one of their 4 metro locations or online at oldsouthernbarbecue.com.